Let me just begin by saying that there are two sides to every story, and this is my side, the right one. I used to be anonymous, and nothing, and non-entity.
Olive. That's your name, right?
Yeah, we've had 9 classes together since kindergarten.
The next movie up on our list is Easy A, and this is more of a star vehicle than like a character-driven movie. It's really cool. It stars Emma Stone as Olive, who is a girl in high school who's sort of looking to get some attention, but she doesn't exactly know how to do it. So obviously the way to do that is to sleep with a couple of guys. After all, this is a very religious school, so that will definitely get you some attention. But she doesn't actually sleep with the guys. In fact, she actually fake sleeps with them. So everybody thinks she is this big whore, for want of a better word, but she is actually still a virgin.
Was that Olive with Brandon?
No grunt, and make it convincing.
Oh!
Stop!
Oh, I'm not gonna stop!
You ready for the grand finale?
Yeah, what? Oh!
Yeah!
Thank you.
We also have Thomas Hayden Church as one of her favorite teachers, who gives a decent role here. You've seen him in Sideways. There's also Lisa Kudrow, who you know from Friends as Phoebe, who's one of the counselors. Malcolm McDowell, famous from a long time ago in Clockwork Orange. He's the principal here. They all get decent performances, but the story goes really wonky and really strange in some parts. Like, it just feels, it's not really, like, it's not that it's a bad story, it's just that it's an odd story. It's really strange to kind of go with this type of story. It takes some really strange and twisted turns that really kind of turned me off from the movie itself. The movie is more of a charmer than it actually is funny. There is some funny stuff, but it's way more charming than it is funny. What I found interesting about Easy A is how the romance takes a backseat to the actual high school life. And Amanda Bynes is a religious person who I thought was completely unnecessary in her role. She's just sort of there to be a purposeful annoyance and to create conflict. Overall, Easy is no A, but I will give it a weak C just because Emma Stone is that good.
Yeah, I wish I could agree with you as much as you. I did not. It's not like I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. It's more of a rent it for me.
Yeah.
Getting to your point about the charming aspect, I said in my review is that it's at its best it's a charmer, and at its worst it's only a charmer. So it's just like first of all, I disagree ironically about the aspect of the religious part. You didn't like that. I like that because it's related to the Scarlet Letter, which is a similar film, which is a silent film and also a book way back in almost at the beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And that was a big religious aspect, which is I was getting what they were spinning off of.
Yeah.
But getting to that is that the whole plot is what you said. It is so wonky.
Weird. It's just
like it's like a wiggling chair the whole time.
I know.
It's just kind of I don't really get what it adds up to.
Yeah, I know it doesn't really add up to much. Like granted, and then even the main romance takes a backseat when you think about it. It's just it's more about the actual charm of this movie and trying to create a realistic situation, which it does, and I appreciate that. I love how it creates this high school as sort of it's all about. Yeah, it's just this infestation of lies and rumors I was really liking that aspect how it created it so well.
You know, I might be a hypocrite on Wall Street, but we've seen that tons of times before with the aspect of like in Mean Girls with the high schools. And this film I would consider Clueless in both ways. The movie Clueless, which is I kind of love Clueless. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Because it kind of really got to the character, it had characters, but then it found different dimensions to them, and that's why it was funny. This film is just not really funny, but kind of charming. But I'm saying because Emma Stone is too good in that role. It's just really kind of a risque role that you're dealing with, you know.
I think with Clueless and Mean Girls, they sort of exploit stupidity for laughs, but in a good way, of course. It adds up to something. Yeah. But for here, at least they're not trying to make everybody look stupid. Like every character has a reason, even if those reasons are a little strange. They have their reasons other than stupidity.
What are your opinion on the aspect of the gay guy who wants to get laid so he doesn't look gay, and the really repugnant guy who wants to get laid so people don't think he's repugnant? Like, do you think that's ultimately like a good message? Because I'm like, okay, so how are they approaching these characters? Like, are they repugnant? Is it bad to be gay? Like, it doesn't
really matter what it's saying. It's just saying that he feels bad being gay. Like that's the whole thing it's trying to create. Because high school is all about reputation and image, and you have to have a good image if you want to be feel good about yourself.
All that's fine and dandy, but I'm not
really sure on the intent of the movie after a while, because I'm again, it's Emma Stone who's running the show. She's delivering the laughs, and there is an interesting element how it's like a big she's doing like a webcam, like a video diary of it, which I thought was really cool.
That was really cool. I like that.
But at the end of the day, the plot is too one notch under Mean Girls for me to say go see it, but it's definitely worth renting for Emma Stone. I'd agree.
Well, I just say it's see it for Stone. I agree. Like your criticisms are valid, but I still think that this movie has enough charm and enough of Stone in it to say see it. She makes bad movies good and good movies even better.
Okay, so we're close here. It's like a rent it for Stone.
Yeah.
See it for Stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miss Kesey, I would like to start with your abduction.
4 men
made me open the safe. They took me as a hostage.
Were you able to see anything at all through the blindfold?
No.
This year we made a trip to the Toronto Film Festival and we were able to see Ben Affleck's new film, The Town. Ben Affleck showed us some serious directorial skills when he did Gone Baby Gone. He really got into the codes and morals of people. Well, he's at it again in this one, and let me say The Town is a very, very good movie. It is about a group of thugs who live in this 1 square mile radius in Boston. Ben Affleck seems to have a really thing for Boston. It really shows. Every single movie that he does that is related to Boston, or that he's in that is related to Boston, you can see that there's immense passion for it, with Fenway Park and all the shots of the city, and he really gets down to the street core of these people. Ben Affleck plays Doug McRae, the leader of a group of bandits who rob armored cars, rob banks, just because they can. It's sort of a family heirloom that has been passed down from generation to generation. It is quite disturbing. And his best friend James is played by Jeremy Renner, who is a snapping live wire that reminded me a lot of Denzel Washington from Training Day.
They told me Brendan Leahy was coming down here to roll up on you with a Glock 21, so I came over here and I put him in the ground. They're 9 years for it. Now, you don't gotta thank me, but you're not walking away.
The Town is a very good film, and Jeremy Renner should get some Best Supporting Actor nomination for his role. Overall, the first half is way too normal and a bit formulaic with its approach, but I will say a solid see it to The Town. Definitely worth seeing it.
It's good. See it for me too.
Yeah.
Granted, I agree.
Yeah.
Formulaic, definitely. Ben Affleck is really growing into. That's a good director. I like what you mentioned about Michael Mann.
Yeah.
He's really showing a lot of that, especially with the shooting sequences, which do hand themselves to it's kind of running on autopilot, but they're shot really well.
Oh my goodness.
Like I was like, oh, and they're really loud. And,
Yeah.
and very just creating this huge noise across the theater when we went to see it at the Elgin in Toronto.
Yeah, I agree with the love story. Like we see it, like why? Like come on. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's just that it's so normal.
It's just like, well, let's add a new element to these heist people.
It's
you
like
know,
rewinding it back to Gigli, which came.
Yeah, exactly. The only real interest is that the fact that she's actually part of the bank that they robbed. It's like okay, well that's just to create some conflict.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then then there's another hooker in that movie played by Blake Lively.
Didn't like that part.
I was just like, whatever. It's another side story. But whoop-de-doo. We came for the heist sequences, and let me tell you, they delivered.
And they delivered. And also noted on John Hamm and Jeremy Renner, Jeremy Renner is really good. Like he got the Best Actor nomination for The Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
And coming there, I just wasn't expecting that because it seemed like a very cliche role, but brings another dimension to it, which is just like frightening. Yeah. And you're arguing in the sense almost like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas.
You can really tell that there's something wrong with this person. Like it's not a matter of fact that he has to go over the top to show it. You can just tell he kills somebody for Ben Affleck, and it's like viewed as something normal.
And what's interesting is there's that clash between Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner.
Oh yeah.
But Jeremy Renner's character really dwells on, I find, the past, whereas Ben Affleck's dwelling on the future, escaping, getting to Florida, which we figure out at the end. There's a little thing in orange that they do. Which is good, and it's a good movie. It adds up. It is formulaic, and it is like, okay, wow, we've seen this. Well, that's Michael, but it's not as good as Gone Baby Gone. Gone Baby Gone ended with that perfect moral dilemma that just made the movie like, wow, what have we got ourselves into?
Exactly. Here with The Town, it's not necessarily a moral dilemma. It's more of code. It's just like how are these characters going to clash? What are they going to do when something goes wrong? It's really cool anticipating that, waiting for that scene to happen where everything's just going to explode.
Coincidentally, it's probably the other guys who did Depart. A film kind of like that in a way,
Yeah, from the studio, and also notable in a small supporting role, Chris Cooper. I thought in his one of those.
Oh yeah, he was really good.
I liked it for his
one of that one little scene that he was in. Just there and gone.
It just
nice
there and gone. Made sense.
Yeah.
It was a very good. It's just overall a very good film to see, and expect to see some of the acting at least at this year's Oscars for sure.
Okay.